In this example, we're going to be using a substitution technique to solve higher order equations. We'll start with the fourth degree equation. X to the fourth minus 5x squared equals -6. We'll start by moving everything to the left-hand side. X to the fourth minus 5x squared plus 6 equals 0. Before I do the substitution, I'll go ahead and rewrite x to the fourth as x squared and then squared again. Minus 5x squared plus 6 equals 0. Now, we'll go ahead and let x squared equal u. You can pick any letter, but u is very common. It's actually called a u substitution technique. So when we do that, then x squared will be replaced by u. So I can rewrite my equation in terms of u as u squared minus 5u plus 6 equals 0. Now I can solve this equation for u by just factoring two numbers that multiply to 6 and add to -5. That's -2 and -3. So then u equals 3 or u equals 2. Now we can go back to the x's. So plug the 2 and the 3 back in this equation where we defined what x squared is. So we'll go ahead and do that now. So x squared is either 3 or x squared is 2, which means that if we take the square root of both sides, then x equals plus or minus the square root of 3, or x equals plus or minus the square root of 2. Usually this is plenty, but if you want to write it in the line form, that's negative square root of 3, positive square root of 3, negative square root of 2, and positive square root of 2. That's the 4 answers that x can be in that equation. Let's go ahead and do one more just like this one. X to the fourth minus 4x squared plus 3 equals 0. We'll go ahead and write x to the fourth as x squared, then squared again, minus 4x squared plus 3 equals 0. Then we'll go ahead and switch to u. Let x squared equal u. Then we have u to the second minus 4u plus 3 equals 0. Two numbers that multiply to 3 and add to -4. That's 3 and 1. Both are negative. So u equals 1 or u equals 3. Then we have to go ahead and go back to x's. So x squared equals 1 or x squared equals 3. Take the square root of both sides. X equals plus or minus the square root of 1. X equals plus or minus the square root of 3. Now, square root of 1 is just 1, so x equals -1, positive 1. And the square root of 3 is not a perfect square, so we have to just keep it as a square root of 3. So that's the 4 answers for x on this one. So this is one type of the equation that can be solved by the u substitution. We'll quickly look at 2 more types. So here's this one, x plus 2 squared minus 10, x plus 2 equals -9. So just like before, we want everything on the left-hand side. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite it. X plus 2 squared minus 10, x plus 2 plus 9 equals 0. Now, you might be tempted to go ahead and square the first term, distribute the -10. You could, but you would make your life a little bit harder by doing that. Let's go ahead and actually use the substitution technique. If I let the expression x plus 2 equal u here, then I can rewrite this equation as u squared minus 10 times u plus 9 equals 0. Then I can factor this and solve for u, two numbers that multiply to 9, and add to negative 10. That's 9 and 1, both are negative. So u equals 1 or u equals 9. Then I can go back to x's. X plus 2 was u, so x plus 2 either equals 1 or x plus 2 equals 9. Subtract 2 from both sides, x equals negative 1. Subtract 2 from both sides, x equals 7. So 2 answers here. And then this type of equation where we have double squares going on. So x squared minus 11, then squared again, minus 10, x squared minus 11 equals negative 25. Step 1 is still to put everything on one side. I'll go ahead and break that up. So x squared minus 11 squared minus 10, x squared minus 11 plus 25 equals 0. Then go ahead and switch to u's. We're going to let x squared minus 11 equal u. Then our equation can be written as u squared minus 10u plus 25 equals 0. If you factor it, this is actually going to be minus 5 and minus 5 in both parentheses. So really, u just equals 5 at the end. Now we're ready to go back to x's. So my u was x squared minus 11. So x squared minus 11 equals 5, which means x squared equals 5 plus 11, which is 16. Take the square root, and you'll get x equals negative 4 or x equals positive 4.